psychology and spiritual seeking, they were a big part of my life. It started with spiritual seeking, and then got into psychology, and then they all got jumbled. So I have two stories, anecdotes around this. Let's see. The first one about psychology. And the name that I'm using, Joe, is not any Joe that I know. It's just Joe, the Joe. So Joe is suffering really bad because he's really deeply believes in his mind, and he feels in his body that he's a mouse. And this is really a big life limitation, and it impairs his relationships and affects his mood and his thoughts and the way he deals with reality and jobs and meeting new people or cats or birds. So he's really tortured with his pain body of this limiting belief of being a mouse. So he finally decides to go to a psychotherapist. So he finds a very serious, reputable clinic in town where they use cutting-edge tools, trauma processing, maybe even psychedelic journey, MDMA-assisted psychotherapy. And anyway, finds this wise man and starts unpacking. But each time it's a whole, it's very difficult just to show up to a session because there are all these cats and all these things around, and he often shows up like shaking, trembling, sweating bullets and stuttering and overwhelmed. So it takes many sessions for the psychotherapist to regulate his nervous system. And anyway, after a few packages of sessions, he slowly realizes the distortion. He realizes how in childhood certain experiences happened, and certain cartoon that he saw, and something that happened in his mother's belly in another life. Anyway, he realizes, as the first aha, realizes cognitively that I'm not a mouse. I'm not a mouse. And there's this big aha, and realizes the various subconscious payoffs of believing to be a mouse, of avoiding reality. Anyway, still feels in his body that he's a mouse, so still has problems, still comes shaking. And anyway, a few more sessions, is this big breakthrough after long breath work and visualized guided trauma processing, and he feels clear now. He's Joe acknowledges the therapist, bows and says, "Thank you so much, you helped me so much. I really know now that I'm not a mouse. I'm not a mouse. I know, and I feel it. I feel it. It's like a new life is waiting for me, so I'm really eager to live my mission and to live fully and have my relationship from this new place of clarity, because I'm not a mouse." So I believe our sessions are over. Thank you. And as you told me first time, part of therapy is to end therapy. So they shake hands, the therapist feels fulfilled, and he leaves, Joe leaves, and the therapist has a smoke or a cup of coffee, or wow, that was intense. After about 15 minutes, knock at his door, Joe comes back sweating bullets, and he's like, "Oh my God," stuttering and shaking and twitching, and he's like, "Sorry to bother you, but can you have some more time? Something came up very strong. Can you see me, please?" And he's like, "Yeah, please sit." So, what's going on? "Well, I just came outside of the clinic, and right there, you know, it's unbelievable. There was this Mancoon cat. There was this cat right there looking at me, and so then it's all kind of comes back together, and I'm just like couldn't handle it. So I felt like I need to come back to you." And the therapist is, Joe, remember we worked on this 8 sessions, 12 sessions. We worked on it, and you do know in your bones, and we cleared this distortion, and you know that you are not a mouse, right? And Joe says, yeah, I know. But the cat doesn't know. So I didn't, the next one, I just realized it could be the same Joe down the road after more sessions. It's the next story, but I can see it's still Joe after finally transcending that and transcending these personal snags and wounds, neglect and Disney trauma and stuff like that. Tom and Jerry. So he's past that. He's past the stage now. He's older. He had a few relationships. He had children. He had life, and he ended up in a really dark place. And he realized something deep down is missing in me. I have a hole that is. I cannot fill it with anything. I tried with love, with fame. He wrote some books about how he transcended the belief of being a mouse. He became famous. He had workshops, but deep down he felt empty. So he realized that there's this spirituality, enlightenment, Buddha nature, Zen, Advaita, non-duality, shamanic. So he just starts seeking and goes to various teachers and gurus, and he just one after the other, he is just disappointed. He doesn't get it. Either they are too high out there and he can't get it, or he feels like that it's not really the requirement needed for him to transcend, to give up his life, doesn't work for him. So he just goes for about 27, 28 different teachers in spiritual communities, and some of them disillusioned because they were fake teachers, or they had this non-integrity. You know how it goes. They're even around here. So anyway, he finds out that there is. Anyway, he ends up in India. There, after having seen the last guru, that he heard a good thing, and still he doesn't get it. He's getting darker and darker. He's desperate. He's suicidal. He's totally suicidal now. And he's like, fuck it, man, I'm done with this seeking and searching. That goes nowhere. It's just wasting my life. My life has no purpose. Yeah, I know I'm not a mouse, but fuck it, man. My life is totally empty. So he's just about in Calcutta. He's in Calcutta, and there's this canal with fast rapids, and he's just about to just jump. Just about to give up, you know. And as he's about to jump, there's this old lady with a hood, crooked, and tells him, my son, wait, my son, there is one more guru. He's like, how did you know? This is really a sign. What's going on here? Yes, there is one more guru you must see on top of that mountain, beyond that mountain, on top of a cliff. You need to go to see him. He will help you. He's like, oh God, like, oh man, not another one. But yes, there's something special about this lady. I'm going to do it. So the last savings he had, he buys some camping gear, some climbing gear, because he knew it's going to be arduous. This guy didn't have an official ashram. He was somewhere in a cave. So he goes, he crosses, he gives up everything. It's just this gear and climbing gear, and he ends up on the top of this like dome, half dome, double dome kind of cliff there, where he knew for sure that the master is there, has a great reputation, but nobody's seen him for a long time. Anyway, so he's hungry, but all his life comes, and all his struggles and the cats and all that he overcame, he feels a renewed fire in his soul, and he climbs and the wind, and it's like dangerous, but it's like, just this is the only thing, nothing else matters. I need to find the source. I need to find the meaning of life. I need to find the meaning of life. And he climbs for about 8 hours straight. He just reaches just a few more meters, then he ends up, pulls himself like, and it's like, there arrives, and there's this clearing, and there's the edge of a cave, and there's this wonderful man. It's like a divine being. He's just closed-eyed, beaming, radiating this peace and this love, and he feels already like, whoa, yes, thanks. I'm so glad I made all this effort. I think I got the one who's going to show me. So he waits patiently, and he's getting this transmission of divine bliss and empty mind and Buddha nature. He's feeling that the master finally opens his eyes, and looks at him, and he felt loved like he's never been so loved, like nobody loved him so much, and is so peace. And then he gets a sign that it's time to ask his question. So he asked the master, "Master, I'm so grateful to meet you. I work so much. I've been through all of this all my life, trauma, and 27 teachers in spiritual community, and you must help me. What is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of life? Please tell me, what is the meaning of life?" The master looks at him, nods, goes back into deep samadhi, goes another 3 hours passes, but the student, Joe, he was like waiting, and then finally the master opens his eyes again, beaming, radiating Christ-like love, and says, Life is like a fountain. And Joe is like, okay. I mean, his mind is like, what do you mean life is like a fountain? Like, I mean, I come all the way here to, so he's like, he just couldn't burst all this frustration, disillusionment, betrayal with all these teachers and all that. It's just, what do you mean life is like a fountain? I mean, I come all the way here, I do all these things, and my life is shit, and you are telling me all this, and everybody's telling me this, and now you are telling me this. I thought you are something else, and you are going to show me, and you are telling me that life is like a fountain? I mean, this is what you have to tell me, that life is like a fountain? And the master, unfazed, the total radiating bliss and love, and a little, has a certain, looks at Joe and says, you mean life is not like a fountain?
Mihai! Give it up for Mihai! That's how it works.